welcome everybody to today's interview. My name is Katrin Hamacher. I'm a systemic psychotherapist and clinical psychologist. And I'm hosting this project in order to empower diversity in the education and practice of psychology and psychotherapy. And today I have the great honor to welcome no other than Professor Sylvester Ntomchukwu Madu. And I don't want to speak so much because I think it's the best if he introduces himself. But I would like to welcome him in Igbo language, Noah.
Hello.
And I want to say thank you, Dalorine, for participating in this program, and also for giving me the privileged opportunity to interview you today.
Thank you.
And to be there with us and presenting today's topic about the School of Psychotherapy and Health Sciences, Okija, in Anambra State, Nigeria.
Yes.
So welcome once again, please, Professor.
Thank you.
We would like to know, can you introduce yourself, please, and what is your profession and your personal reasons to specialize on mental health?
Okay, thank you very much. My name is Professor Sylvester Ntomchukwu Madu. I'm from Nigeria, from Okija, the eastern part of Nigeria. I'm a professor of clinical psychology and psychotherapy. I studied in the 1980s in Austria, in Innsbruck, at the University of Innsbruck, Austria. I studied psychology there. Got my PhD there, and also did my training in client-centered psychotherapy, also in Innsbruck, Austria. Then, since then, I came back to Nigeria, 1985, and since then I've been lecturing and practicing also psychotherapy. I've lectured at the University of Ibadan in Nigeria, lectured at the University of Vienna, Austria, then University of Limpopo in South Africa, then Nasarawa State University in Nigeria, and now at Chukwuemeka Odumegwu Ojukwu University also in Nigeria. I am the chairman of the board of directors of the School of Psychotherapy and Health Sciences in Okija, Nigeria. I think that's enough for the introduction. Then with other questions, other things will then come up.
Thank you very much for your introduction.
Thank you.
What I wanted to add, because I forgot to add it in my introduction, please, if you have any questions throughout the interview, feel free to share them in the chat and we will be happy to read them out, and Professor Madu will answer them. Thank you very much. So, what were your personal reasons to specialize in mental health and become a psychotherapist?
Yes. When I was studying in Austria and also being trained as a psychotherapist in Austria, during holidays or during my research field work, if I come back to Nigeria, I notice that there are a lot of psychological problems that need to be addressed by psychotherapists, and there are very, very few psychotherapists in Nigeria. Even in Africa as a whole, there are very, very few psychotherapists in Africa. That I got to know also because of my position as the Vice President of the World Council for Psychotherapy. So we've traveled to Uganda, Kenya, then Nigeria, South Africa, and so many places. We've organized international conferences in psychotherapy there. And it is clear that there are actually very, very few psychotherapists in Africa, while there are many problems that need to be addressed with psychotherapy. So that, enkindled my interest in not only being trained as a psychotherapist, but also in specializing in that area, and I've been working in that area since 1985.
Wow. What a great engagement. Also Vice President of the World
Council for Psychotherapy.
Wow.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you very much. So, where are you currently practicing, and which mental health symptoms are you treating here in Nigeria? Which mental health symptoms do you see that need to be addressed?
Okay. As I mentioned before, I am the chairman of the board of directors at the School of Psychotherapy and Health Sciences. This institution actually came up because I also noticed that in the whole of Africa, especially south of Sahara, there's no such institute where people can be trained in the area of psychotherapy. No such institute. So me and the other directors, we came together and established the institution. So in that institution, School of Psychotherapy and Health Sciences in Okija, we do a lot of things. First of all, we train psychologists who want to acquire some skills in the area of psychotherapy, and we go eclectic, in that training. I will go into details later on the different aspects of psychotherapy that we train them in. Then we also organize conferences, psychotherapy conferences, to enlighten people, because many people up till now, just like in many other parts of Africa, do not know anything about psychotherapy. Even many don't even know anything about psychology, not to talk of psychotherapy. Okay? Then we also publish journals. The International Journal for Psychotherapy in Africa, the first and the only one that deals with psychotherapy in Africa. The one I'm showing you now is the 8th volume that we have. So since 2015 that the school started, we've been publishing 1 volume of the journal every year. And this one just came out this month, the 8th volume. Then we also attend to clients, both for individual therapy and also for group therapy. So those are and then some other, activities. So, but majorly, we concentrate on advertising and awareness campaign, all in the area of psychotherapy. We treat clients in the area of psychotherapy, and then we train young guys who have studied psychology or psychotherapy related courses like counseling, and even pastors, priests, who are often confronted with psychological problems. So we also train them. Then among the problems we have been treating, there are many of them. There are just diverse of them. We have family issues. We have anxiety problems, depression problems, problems of addiction. There's a new wave of addiction which is going on now in Nigeria. We call it Mulummili. Young guys, take these drugs in order to forget their frustrations, to forget the hardship that they are going through. So these are the major the major problems we've been handling in so far.
Wow! First of all, congratulations to the 8th volume of the International Journal for Psychotherapy in Africa.
Thank you.
I mean, I told you before, I'm so inspired by all the engagement and passion you put in psychotherapy.
Thank you.
And yeah, I just have a lot of respect for the work you are doing.
Thank you.
So my next question would be, what are the treatment services you offer? Okay, you told us a little bit about it, but how can local or also international people can get access to it?
Yes, both local and international people can get access to it, either by sending us WhatsApp, or through WhatsApp, through Facebook, through Instagram that we are now developing, and also through phone calls. My phone number is 070-6288-3630. That's for the ones people living in Nigeria. For those living outside of Nigeria, they have to start with the Nigerian code, which is +234. Then they continue with 70-6288-3630. Yeah, so we can be accessed anytime, anywhere. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you very much. I also use this phone number to get in touch with Professor Madu. And I will be happy to also post the contact details, the website of the school, and everything later when I upload this interview on my YouTube channel.
Yes.
As usual, the link to it is linked to my bio, and I will be happy to reveal the contact details there as well.
The test of the pudding is in the eating. Karen is here, that's how she got in touch with us. I didn't know Catherine before. She got to us through a website and then phone calls, and here she is. She has been with us for 2 good weeks, and she'll still be here for another 2 weeks, joining the interns who are being trained in the skills for psychotherapy.
Thank you. So there is a comment. I doff my hat off for all you have done, Prof.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you for sharing.
Thank you.
So my next question was, okay, SPHS, which is the short form for the School of Psychotherapy and Health Sciences, it doesn't only serve as a private praxis where you welcome people, but also as a school to be trained, as you also mentioned.
Sure.
So you also told us a bit about what encouraged you to build the school,
yes,
and what encouraged you to precisely build it there.
Yes.
In this area.
Sure. Yes. No, the need is just there. The need is there, and the passion is also there. So we decided then to invest in that area and to make a significant input in development of psychotherapy in Africa.
Thank you. So who else is part of the School of Psychotherapy and Health Sciences, lecturing there and also practicing there?
Okay, we have Venerable Dr. Madu, Gilbert Madu. He is the provost of the School of Psychotherapy and Health Sciences. He also teaches. Behavioral therapy, rational emotive behavioral therapy. Okay, we also have Dr. Adolphus Ezeako. Reverend Father Dr. Adolphus Ezeako is the specialist in trauma therapy. And then I teach client-centered psychotherapy, and my wife, also Professor Bridget Ngozi Madu, is a specialist in speech therapy. Okay, that is being developed. We are developing it. She is developing it fast, and very soon she will be treating people who specialize in, who have speech problems. And then we had one Reverend Sister Catherine Ekwe. She comes from Imo State, a bit far from here, and with some political stroke insecurity issues, especially at the distance. She is no more with us for now. She's no more with us, but she was with us for some time. The other person I was for is Dr. Adolphus Madu. No, Dr. Adolphus. He is treating trauma therapy. He is handling trauma.
Thank you very much for introducing the other staff to us as well.
And sorry to come in. I forgot to mention that we then also hire specialists, who come from outside, who are not the core staff of the institution, like His Royal Majesty Professor Peter Ebibo, who comes and gives workshop on harmony restoration therapy. Harmony restoration therapy is an African Nigerian originated form of psychotherapy, which needs to really develop, because we are also culture sensitive in our training. Then we also often invite, unfortunately, late Professor Alfred Awaritefe, who is the author of Messeron Therapy. Messeron Therapy is also a Nigerian originated form of psychotherapy. So some of these, like Ubuntu therapy, which I also was a member of the team that developed it in South Africa, we intend also to invite somebody from South Africa who will come and give a workshop on Ubuntu therapy, and so on and so forth. So it's not just these 4 or 5 core members that are teaching in the school, but also other specialists. We invite them to come and give a workshop, and then they go. So it's like it's open. It's like the staff strength is like open. We will be happy to hire somebody from Germany. When Catherine finishes training, we will be happy to have her to come and give us a workshop and some, more weeks or months of training in systemic therapy, and so on and so forth. So it's not limited to only these few.
Wow, this is the first time I'm hearing this. Thank you already for this invitation. Yes. I would be happy to follow it in the future. And thank you also for introducing even people that are not working as like core members, but of course staff. But also come and empower their own approaches that they developed, the great approaches. Last week we had the honor, thanks to Professor Madu who organized that, we had the honor to be trained in harmony restoration therapy by His Royal Majesty Peter Ebibo himself, which was very, very much inspiring.
Yes, he came with his team. Yes.
And I hope that all the approaches that you presented or named now, and I would also like to add the one Dr. Madu introduced to us last week in the interview. It's also published on my YouTube channel about Ifunanya therapy.
Yes, Ifunanya therapy.
That he developed himself.
Yes. The Reverend Sister Dr. Kate Ekwe was presenting solution-focused therapy. you know, and one of Professor Richard Uwakwe, who was actually the first student we had mastered this solution-focused therapy very much, that in the near future he is going to also assist in teaching the solution-focused therapy.
Wow.
As I said, we're going eclectic. So it's not just like we're teaching only client-centered and everybody who goes through the school must learn client-centered. Rather, we expose our clients to client-centered psychotherapy, rational emotive behavior therapy, harmony restoration therapy, solution-focused therapy, and all that trauma therapy. And at the end, we train them on how to combine or how to integrate, these forms of psychotherapy, for the benefit of the client.
Yeah, and I just hope that in the future, all these great approaches that are also developed here will also be integrated in our curriculum, so that we also learn about that
in Germany.
Yes, and everywhere else in the world, because I think since the world is so.
The world is a global village now. The world is a global village. You see. What happens in Germany, for example, we will be watching it live here in Nigeria. What happens here in Nigeria, one can watch it live in Germany, in Austria, in America, and all that. So we need to really, that's why I love this program that Catherine is doing now, exchange of ideas, cross-pollination of ideas. No one knows it all. No one knows it all, and no one has all the information. So you from Europe, they bring their ideas. From Africa, we bring our own. From America, they bring their own. No one knows it all, and all these, when they are integrated and combined for the benefit of the client, I mean, the world will be better than this.
And we can grow together on our own, and especially because we're living in so multicultural society. So it's just a big profit, and I'm also so grateful to have this privileged opportunity to learn now from you in order to also improve my services for people in Germany and elsewhere. Sure. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
So, we also learned already what are the approaches that you use for your clients, but also train people in. So, my next question would be, because since you are exposed to different countries and different continents, my question would be, what are your experiences in various countries on different continents in applying and combining these different approaches?
Yes, it is a very interesting experience. Very interesting in the sense that once you are open to knowledge, once you are open to different cultures, once you are open to see the positive sides of every culture and positive sides of people, you will find it easy in being a therapist here. I was a therapist in Austria for 5 good years. For 5 good years in Vienna. And there I was able to treat both Austrians and Nigerians. You see, that with that open mind and not being constrained or limited, then one should be able to move from one culture to another. I was also a therapist in South Africa for 12 good years, in Limpopo. So, and I got to know their culture and all that. And that's where I also teamed up with some of my friends there to build Ubuntu therapy. Even this morning, before I came for this interview, I got WhatsApp messages, you know, from one of my colleagues in South Africa, Professor Mashego, you know, in South Africa. She was chatting with me, you know, sharing some ideas with me, and, you know, wishing me well in what I'm doing, and also vice versa. I have some colleagues from America, UCLA, University of California, Los Angeles, Professor White. She, you know, is, you know, interacting with me always, and she tells me certain things and share certain ideas with me, and I also share certain ideas with her. So, you know, the important thing is to have an open mind, and not for one culture to look down on the other culture. Each culture is rich in itself. Each culture has, you know, rich values. But of course, there are also certain aspects of culture that need to be improved. But fundamentally, the fundamental values of human behavior is the same all over. The fundamental values of human behavior is the same all over. You know, just like our blood is the same, only the color, you know, changes. But a human being in Nigeria is the same human being in Germany, same human being in America, and all that. So, but also important to note is that the way people express some of their psychological problems or how they are manifest can also differ from culture to culture, right? While in certain countries, somebody who is depressed, for example, will just shrink himself or herself in a room and doesn't want to interact with people and all that. In Nigeria, many people who are depressed or who have anxiety, they have crawling sensations. They have crawling sensations, like crawling in the head or crawling on the skin, or, you know, or that kind of thing. You see? So if you go to America, they may also have their own way of expressing it. Yeah, but if somebody, a Nigerian who has crawling sensations in the head, then goes to Germany and is to be treated there without the therapist being aware or knowing that this person who has crawling sensation may be manifesting depression, may be manifesting anxiety, you know, then he will be getting it wrong. They'll be giving him medicine to drink and all that, and the problem will remain. So moving from one culture to another was, you know, something very, very important that enriched me personally. It enriched me because it opened my eyes, opened my ears, nose to be aware of what is happening in different cultures.
Thank you very much. There are two ideas for new interviews already.
Yes.
First of all, about the different symptoms that you perceive in different cultures, or the expression of symptoms.
Sure.
That would be interesting, but we can do it in a future interview.
That's another.
And then also Ubuntu therapy as well. That
Sure.
would be also wonderful
Sure.
to know. Yeah, thank you very, very much
It's a
for all
pleasure.
these inputs and insights to your personal experiences
It's a
as
pleasure.
well.
It's a pleasure.
So my question now is, how can local and international people profit from the trainings you offer at SPHS,
Yes.
individually for themselves?
Yes, you see, during our training here at the School of Psychotherapy and Health Sciences, the package is all inclusive, in the sense that we teach theory, we also expose them to practice, and then, very importantly for this question, is that we allow them also to have self-experience in psychotherapy, what they call in German Eigentherapie. We believe that a therapist should not be a helpless helper. A therapist should not be a helpless helper. In other words, the therapist, before you graduate, you should go for therapy yourself. The reason being that you use the opportunity to address your own issues. There's nobody in this world that has no issue. There's no perfect human being in this world. If not, we would have been angels or gods, So you have the opportunity of treating yourself during the self-experience in psychotherapy, and then you also equip yourself, with the skills with which you can then handle some of your issues when they come up in the future, so that you don't mix them up with that of the client. For example, you may be having marital issues that you are digesting and working on yourself and with your partner, and then all of a sudden somebody comes for therapy, and then the person also comes with a similar marital issue, and then presents it to you. If you haven't gone through self-experience in psychotherapy, and if you don't know how to cope and manage your own, then you mix up your own issues with that of the client, or you become a helpless helper, because you be helpless in the situation. You will not know how to handle it, because you yourself, either you are undergoing such a situation, or you had it in the past, or whatever. So self-experience in psychotherapy is a very core component of our training here at the School of Psychotherapy and Health Sciences. So we expose the students to theory, we expose them to practice, and then we also give them the opportunity for self-experience in psychotherapy. So you benefit for yourself. That is very, very important.
Thank you very much. I think all the trainings you offer are certified, right?
Yes.
Yes. Because we also talked about that, and I also would like to inform other people, maybe other psychotherapists like me in training,
yes,
that we can also, the training is also acknowledged, or was acknowledged by my institute,
yes,
to be valid for Freie Spitze.
Yes.
Those people who know, who are studying in Germany, they know Freie Spitze in the qualification or training,
yes,
of psychotherapy.
Yes.
Yes. Just to spread the message as well.
That's good.
Thank you very much. So, how can communities and societies profit from the people trained at your school?
Yes, we train people not to retain them. Rather, we train them to go out there and then be of help to the communities, to their clients. We train them to go out there and be useful to the society. Not all the people we train, will remain in the area of psychotherapy. Some are counselors in schools. Some are nurses, for example. Some are doctors. So those skills we train them in, they will use it in their own different professions. So by doing so, they are contributing to the development of the society in whatever fields they are. Okay? And as I said also, we organize conferences almost every year or every 2 years. We've organized 6 conferences so far, and we are thinking of organizing another one later this year. The COVID-19 that came interrupted us. But besides that, we've been having conferences every year. And we invite people from all over, both psychologists, psychotherapists, counselors, nurses, doctors, who benefit from the conference. So we try to reach the community. Yes.
Thank you very much also for this engagement and for spreading the message,
sure,
sharing it with us. So, to what extent and in which ways does the training at your institute also contribute to the deconstruction of discrimination of people?
Yes. You see, let me use client-centered psychotherapy as an example. Okay? There are 3 core qualities of a client-centered psychotherapist, according to Carl Rogers: genuineness, unconditional positive regard, and empathy. Okay? So, when the therapist exhibits the quality of unconditional positive regard, then the therapist will not discriminate, any human being. Because all of us are into this world, passing through the world, going through all the ups and downs of the world. Some may have some more challenges, some a little less or more or less challenges. So we try not to, using that unconditional positive regard, we don't discriminate. We don't discriminate. Because who knows? I told my students the other day, when I was practicing in Austria, I treated one young man who has some issues. And so while he was with me there, he was my client. And the next day, I went to my bank to, for them to help me sort out also my own financial issues. And behold, the person, the bank consultant that I was referred to solve my financial problem was that my client. You see, so while he was in therapy, he was my client. While I was in the bank, I became his client. That is the word. You see, we say in the Nigerian palace, the left hand will watch the right hand will watch the left hand. We are all dependent on each other. And nobody knows it all, nobody has it all. So why should we then discriminate or criticize? Discriminate because one person has something and the other person hasn't got it. We say also, if you are taller than me, then I'm shorter than you. There are certain things that tall people can do easily more than a short people. But there are also certain things a short person can do easily more than a tall person. So I cannot discriminate somebody who is tall, or somebody who is tall discriminate somebody who is short, or somebody who is light-skinned, like Catherine is, and I'm dark-skinned, and then so I'll be discriminating her or she'll be discriminating. That's nonsense. That's nonsense. You see? So discrimination, should not be allowed. Should not be allowed. And let me also use this opportunity to tell some people who feel held down due to discrimination that they are having, that they should not mind the discrimination. They should remain focused. If you're a student, for example, in Germany or in Austria or whatever, remain focused on your studies. If you are working, remain focused and just surge ahead, forge ahead. That's how I survived it. That's how I survived it. Don't mind discrimination here and there, just part of the ups and downs of life, but don't allow such discriminations to hold you down, to make you not to achieve what you want to achieve.
Thank you very much for sharing your personal strategy for dealing with discrimination. Thank you very much, and also for your encouraging words.
Thank you.
I also would like to add one thought I had. I think also I see it as somehow part of the structural discrimination we face in our health system. For example, in Germany, I told you that this was the motivation to come for a training. I know that it's a very privileged opportunity to come here and do this training here with you. But I see it also as very important that we also empower these different approaches that are trained and conveyed here at your institute, that you also publish in this journal, that you introduce to us, the Journal of International
Journal for Psychotherapy in Africa.
Thank you. This way around. And also that we as me as a psychotherapist in Germany, which experienced her education as very much based on white European and American research, that we broaden the perspective and also see which other wonderful approaches are there to be used. And I think that you give us the opportunity also, and also the colleagues that are working at your school, that I had the honor to interview as well. This is also a big contribution and a big gift that you are giving us, to be able to learn from you, and also using this kind of means. And I hope that we will also find a way in the future that we also can offer the knowledge and the approaches that you are teaching here, that people can also book it maybe in other countries, like a course, and that you be trainer for us somewhere else.
That's good.
That's
and by the way, feel free to contribute to this journal. Okay, we have people in some of the volumes that contributed article, and they are in Austria. They are in one from Ukraine, the other one from America, and all that. What is important is, if you share or narrate your experiences or whatever you want to write, try at the end to relate it to Africa, or how it will be beneficial either to Africa or to the developing world. Then it will fit into the journal. Okay? Don't say that because you are not working or living in Africa, then you will not be able to contribute to the publication. No, you can. You can even just narrate your experiences, in Germany, and then advise us or tell us, how it will be beneficial to us in Africa, or how it relates to what is happening in Africa. So feel free to do that.
Wow, thank you very much for giving us as researchers and students, or interested in science, people who are interested in science, the opportunity to also publish in your journal.
Yes.
All right, thank you for this edition. So my next question is, how can local people be admitted at the school? Are there requirements they have to fulfill? And yes,
there are requirements, just like every other school. Even if you want to enter, another university, or there are some basic requirements. Our own basic requirement is that you should have a degree. In health-related discipline, especially psychology, counseling, medicine, philosophy, theology, and all that. Health-related nursing and all that. So, first degree, from experience, I would say more than 50% of the students we had are masters and PhD students in psychology. But others, who came from nursing, or came from theology, or came from, teaching and all that, they are also accepted. So we don't go below first degree, bachelor's degree in health-related sciences.
Yeah. Thank you. And how can international people be admitted at the school? What are the requirements for them?
It's the same requirement. We don't discriminate. It's the same requirement. They only need to write us, through either the website or through the, WhatsApp or, all these social media forms that we have. Once they write us, then we ask them, we send them a form that they will fill in, and from the form we know whether they have the basic requirements. And once they have the basic requirements finished, we don't discriminate.
Okay, thank you very much for this information. Okay. I will post all this information also below the video when I uploaded it on my YouTube channel, so that you people outside there can have the references immediately. Sure. Okay, so we also said that apart from SPHS, the School of Psychotherapy and Health Sciences, you are a lecturer at universities. Yes. You are publishing the International Journal of Psychotherapy that we talked about now. You published books as well.
Many books.
Yes. Can you please tell us more about your work?
Okay.
And means?
Yes. 99% of the books I published cover around mental health or psychotherapy in Africa. The first one was Psychotherapy in Africa, First Investigations. Yeah. Then the second one, Psychotherapy and African Realities. Okay. Third one, Mental Health and Psychotherapy in Africa. The other one also deals with issues relating to the development of psychotherapy in Africa. So just all of them deal with psychotherapy in Africa or mental health in Africa in one form or the other. Even I have interviewed several times traditional healers, African traditional healers, who I know and have observed also treat mental issues. Okay? Why we interview them, and at times I've even brought one to Vienna, to the first World Congress on Psychotherapy in Vienna. That was 1998, right? So there he was, interviewed, he interacted with people, he gave a keynote address on how Nigerian traditional healers treat mental illnesses. People asked him all sorts of questions, he also replied. We don't, in as much as there are certain gray areas where we would give only a suggestion to them on how to improve their mental health practices, but basically we don't discriminate them. In South Africa, by the way, the Association of Traditional Healers in South Africa are now integrated into the mental health healthcare system in South Africa. People can even go and see them, and after that, they just sign their signature, and insurance will pay them. You see, that is a step forward. That is something other countries should emulate. That's something other countries. In other words, the mental health system in South Africa has even integrated them into into promotion of mental health in South Africa. That's what other countries should emulate. Then we have also interviewed many religious faith healers. In Nigeria, just like in many other African countries, people who have psychological problems when they go to medical doctors and they are not able to help them, they run to religious faith healers, prayer houses, and all that. And these people, most of them are not trained in the skills of psychotherapy. So we would, like to have them, to train them, give them the skills of psychotherapy so that they take it back to their healing practices and it will be beneficial to them and to their clients. You see, so we don't discriminate them also. Because actually, the truth is, since psychotherapy is not so known in Nigeria and in most parts of Africa, many people who have psychological problems go to religious faith healers, go to traditional healers. That is the truth. Okay? So, the earlier we work together, the earlier we cooperate with each other, the earlier we team up with each other, the better for the clients. Yeah, so that's where we're heading to. That's where we're heading to. So we don't discriminate, but we need to learn from each other and improve. Like the medical doctors are telling the traditional healers that one area they have a problem is in the issue of dosage. The issue of dosage. See, when they give you their concoctions, the issue of dosage, they don't emphasize it enough and all that, and people can then take more than they are supposed to take or less than they are supposed to take. And from psychotherapeutic point of view, we also see some methods that they are applying which needs to be modified, modified because culture is dynamic and things are changing. What our forefathers practiced, hundreds of years ago, or in the early 90s and the early 80s, early 70s, do not apply now. So they should also be changing with time, although they should remain in their profession.
Thank you very much. One of these things that I really learned from you, and I'm very grateful for that, and also your other staff, and also the research that I did, is also the importance of the understanding of psychotherapy also develops, right? That sometimes there were approaches even in the past that were not known as psychotherapy, but they were there to serve to solve mental health issues, and that we should also respect that and integrate them and tolerate them, and in the end see how can we work together in order to be beneficial, as you said, for the client, because it also depends on what does the client believe in.
It's about the client, not about us.
Yeah, and this is what I really love in your School of Psychotherapy and Health Sciences, because I think this is very unique because sometimes I have the impression, at least in our health system in Germany, that the alternative approaches are sometimes not so taken serious. They are not really that much integrated in the health system. Usually if you have alternative approaches, you have to pay for them yourself, not the insurance will not cover them. And this is what I also see somehow as as difficult, because it also discriminates, and makes access to certain health services more difficult. Yes. So this is why I really appreciate what you said. Thank you very much.
It's a pleasure.
Yeah. My next question is, and you already gave some insights also to this, but why do you think is it important that we exchange perspectives on mental health and related topics?
It is very, very important. As I have said, nobody knows it all, and no culture has it all. Nobody has the totality of knowledge. We are not angels. We are not gods. Everybody is limited, and so also every method is limited. There's no method that is all-encompassing and that can cure all psychological problems or mental health issues. Some are good, some are better in certain issues, and others are better in other issues. So, we should come together, integrate, learn from each other, and grow. That's the only way for growth. Once we continue to remain in our own shells and in our own theories and believe that is all, then we'll be limiting our growth.
Thank you very much. So, my favorite systemic question. Suppose a miracle happens overnight,
yes,
and one aspect about mental health or mental health services change to the better.
Yes.
How would you notice the next day that this miracle happened?
Yes, it will be a big miracle if I wake up one day and notice that most of the people in Nigeria, most of the people in Africa are now aware of psychotherapy and its importance, and how important it is for the benefit of the client, for the development of the mental health of Africans.
Okay.
Yeah. So greater awareness. Just like I would say that orthodox medicine, now everybody knows about it. Okay. But psychotherapy, mention about it in the street, people will ask you, what type of animal is that? Even psychology, they will look at you, ask you, what is it? You have to explain. But if you say medicine, nobody asks you a question because they already know. So more awareness, greater awareness in the society about psychotherapy. That would be a miracle for me.
Thank you very much. There was a request to be in the live video. Unfortunately, due to experiences that it didn't work out, I cannot accept it now. But if you have any questions, please feel free to share them in the chat. We would be very happy to integrate them, and Professor Madu will answer them. Thank you very much for your understanding. So, now I'm coming to my personal last question.
Yes.
If you out there have questions, please
do.
be free to share them. My last question is just, what else would you like to share? What would be your take-home message?
What I would like to share is first, in fact, I want to thank you, Catherine, for this wonderful job that you are doing. It is a rare job. I see the passion, the commitment in you, for this exchange of ideas and for the promotion of mental health. Came all the way from Germany to Nigeria to learn about what is happening in Nigeria in the area of mental health. You shared, and you are still sharing, your experiences, and you are very, very eager to hear from us. You've interviewed many people since you came. I'm not the first, and I know I will not be the last. So that's a wonderful project. That's a wonderful project, and a very rare project. Very, very rare. I've traveled all over the world. I've not seen somebody who is doing this type of job that you are doing. So I want to thank you very, very much that you are significantly contributing to the development of mental health in the whole world, not just in Nigeria or in Germany. People are calling from Ghana, from Gambia, from South Africa, from Germany, and all that. You are planting seeds of mental health, which are growing and which will continue to grow. So I appreciate it, and I thank you very much. So I also thank you for then giving me the opportunity to share my ideas with you and with the rest of the world. Thank you.
Wow, Dadorine, thank you very much for these appreciative words, and I can just give back the words you said. Your passion about mental health and improving it internationally is just inspiring and encouraging me to also do more and to contribute in the building of bridges between mental health professionals and health systems in general. So I feel very blessed and honored that I got the opportunity to interview you, to hear your perspective on different mental health topics and approaches. And it's true, I will continue. I try to continue to also catch other people's perspectives or to share them, so that we can, as you said, learn from each other and grow for ourselves, but also with each other. And also out there, if you know health specialists from wherever part of this world, feel free to connect us so we can continue to contribute in closing gaps and build these bridges.
Exactly.
Yeah.
A big round of applause for you.
For us all.
For you.
For us all, because I'm also very grateful for the people outside there. There are a lot of people who are constantly joining the videos, sharing the videos. They are enriching with the comments, with your questions. I'm very, very grateful for your interest. And I'm just so happy about the manifold ways people try also to contribute in spreading messages of improvement of mental health and spreading messages of mental health services. There's also a comment from one person. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. I thank you too.
Thank you very much out there. I see there is no questions so far. Whenever there are upcoming questions, please feel free to reach out to me or to Professor Madu. He shared his contact details in this video, in the beginning of this video, and I will also put them under the uploaded video, which you will very soon find on my YouTube channel, linked to the bio. So feel free to subscribe to it so you will not miss it when this video will be published. Feel free to share, to support the project by liking the videos and subscribing, etc. We received another question and would like to add it to the video. So the person asked, what do you think, why does people in Nigeria think that when it comes to psychotherapy, people are treating mad people?
Okay, well, the answer is very simple. It's all about ignorance. People are ignorant about psychotherapy. People are ignorant about psychology. I've mentioned this several times during this interview, that our people need to be enlightened. Psychology is not all about mad people. Psychology is the study of mental processes and behaviors of both people and animals. We study human behaviors, animal behaviors, and their mental processes. And when the human behavior is abnormal, then you use psychotherapy to make it normal. Use psychotherapy to make the person to behave normal. But abnormal behaviors does not equal to madness. Madness, in the sense that people refer to, is schizophrenia. So it's not all about schizophrenia. There's so many other abnormal behaviors, depression, anxiety, and so on and so forth, drug addiction. And there are so many. Even marital difficulties, relationship difficulties, even relating to each other in a society. There are so many it's a range from complete madness to almost equals to normal behavior. And it also depends on how people perceive it. Some people, one person may have a problem and he or she perceives it as very crazy, very abnormal, and very whatever, while another person may have the same problem and the person is able to cope with it. And it's not a big problem for that person. So to answer your question, people need to be enlightened. You remember the miracle question you asked me? The miracle question, you know, I will be very, very happy one day to see that most of Nigerians, most of Africans are enlightened about psychotherapy and psychology. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And I think also, like, these terms of madness, I marked it with my fingers, have to be put in question marks, and also what we receive as in question marks abnormal or normal, because it also can differ from the cultural background, beliefs, etc. And what I also think is, apart from, instead of calling someone as mad or in question marks or abnormal in question marks, we also as a society, not only as therapists or individuals, we should see, okay, how can we develop a better understanding? Because we just see the cover of something. Yes. We just see maybe a behavior and have an impression or whatever, but we should not be judgmental, because we never know what this person went through.
Exactly.
And why this person developed certain behaviors or strategies that are perceived by other people in a certain way.
Sure.
Yeah. Thank you very much for this question and also for your answer.
It's a pleasure.
I'm very, very, very grateful, and I wish you all a blessed Sunday.
Thank you. I wish you the same.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Goodbye.
Bye-bye.